Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to have with us today KJ Helms, who's the Chief Anti-PR Strategist of JOTO PR Disruptors. KJ, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Doug. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Well, I'm excited about this podcast because, amongst other things, it's really different. But we're going to be talking about something I think that's critical to a lot of people: the impact of a big change that's underway at Google, but also I think even a bigger picture about what JOTO PR Disruptors has to offer, and lots of point of view. But first, I just want to ask, what is a chief anti-PR strategist?
Such a good question. Yes. Anti-PR is really the antithesis of traditional modern day PR that uses crisis management techniques and the media's algorithm to help disruptive, innovative companies get put on the map. And, it's like it is not your traditional PR in the sense of publicizing fluffy type of releases. We just won this award. We hired this person. We did this. It really is getting on the communication lines of the world and tapping into the major harms, the major controversies, the issues, the financial waste, and so forth that these new technologies solve, so that these companies can, educate the markets on what they're doing and let people know that there's solutions to these problems and services that there's been this pent up demand for so long. And there's lots of technology disruption, but that's what anti-PR does.
So, for a lot of people watching, there's a dilemma, and that is, hey, we're a technology company. We have really amazing innovations coming out, but I don't know how to go to market with them. I don't understand why people don't understand our message. Maybe I don't even understand why I need to have a message, because the product and service must be the message. And then overlaying on top of that, we have, of course, this big disruption happening with the way Google's actually finds products and services. So can you speak to that? What's up with that?
Yeah, it's a great question. We work with lots of tech founders and lots of chief innovation officers and chief growth officers. And one of the biggest challenges that happens is they see visionary wise a problem that needs to be solved. So they develop technology to solve this problem. And then they're really bad at storytelling. And that is a common thing in the technology industry, right? So they quickly learn that after they get an MVP, then they need to become a storyteller, right? And so the biggest factor today is that people are glued to the news to find answers to their problems, right? And they have issues that need to be solved. These new technologies solve major issues in our economy, in our healthcare, in our financial system, and among other things. And what tech founders and technologists really need to understand is that emotional, like human emotion and reaction connected to those problems that they're trying to solve, and figure out how to tell that story and insert their subject matter expertise as to their technology. Nobody goes to the news looking for good news, right? They don't automatically say, what are these features and benefits? Sometimes they need to have the problem staring them in the face and identified to them before they go, oh yeah, that is exactly what's going on. I do need this problem solved. Oh, here's a subject matter expert that is speaking to this, and let me see what they have to say. That creates credibility, that educates the markets, and it also helps technologists become better storytellers.
Now, is that what you mean when you say anti-PR?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
So this is it. It's like you're saying to people, drop what you may think and think this again, kind of.
Yeah, anti-PR came from our clients and prospects over the years where, like I said, my background is in crisis management. So developed a system using crisis management techniques and understanding the media's algorithms to be able to get news out there and get publicity in a consistent, large volume basis for companies that were unknown, right? So over the years, our clients and prospects would tell us, oh my gosh, you're the antithesis of PR. You're the opposite of PR. You're the opposite of what our experience has been. So we just owned that and made it our own. People kept dubbing that in. So that's how it came about.
Now, you mentioned in passing algorithms, because the other thing in motion here is this change in the way Google's algorithms work. So is there a message here for people in terms of how to survive this change?
Yes, this happens often or at periodic levels. Google changes their algorithm. Why? Because they have a primary postulate of quality information. Nobody wants to use search terms or search for something when they're really trying to find out information and get spammed with a lot of sites that are trying to drive you to them to buy their stuff, right? And so Google has seen this, and their primary postulate is quality information. So they have had to overhaul their algorithm every time marketers get really good at gaming the system. And that is the cycle and the evolution with Google, right? Now with AI, that cycle is becoming faster, right? And so Google is going to overhaul that algorithm every time. They always do, but they're going to overhaul it much more often, right? And so marketers definitely need to be prepared, right? And brand marketers, all types of marketers need to be prepared, search engine optimization and so forth. But the key factor is that because earned media is considered a credibility factor by Google, right? It's considered one of the top forms of content, right? That is not considered quote unquote gamed, right? Earned media has, a higher ranking. That is, if you really understand what Google's postulate is and you understand more of the algorithms, and you don't have to be super techie to understand that there's a cadence to particular things. And then you understand what really makes the news today. Marketers can utilize anti-PR tactics and methods as part of their communication plan to always stay relevant and not get hit so hard by these algorithms.
So KJ, could you give us an example of what you mean?
Yes. Let me go on the opposite side of the coin, since my background is in crisis management. And usually people understand guiding and controlling public opinion and PR when there's a crisis. They don't always understand it proactively, right? But when there's a crisis, and in my previous life and line of work, right, when a bad actor wanted to take out a competitor that was increasing their market share and encroaching upon their territory, the thing to do was to use PR as a weapon. And that was done by a series of press releases or releases behind the scenes to various media outlets around a particular geographical area, or communicate to journalists around a national level, the same story, the same message that would get put out at the same time and appear ubiquitous, right? And that is a black hat or a black PR tactic, right? And it was done to not only throw their competitor under the bus in the court of public opinion, but to make it seem like that message was ubiquitous, right? And it was done with, sensationalism, and it was done with half-truths and things like that. Maybe a little bit of truth in those stories to make it sort of stick. But that is what sold news, but it's also what crushed a competitor. Believe it or not, that's still done today. But proactively, right? Let's take that and let's look at proactive terms and proactive ability. What if you actually do solve some of the biggest issues? Say you have a med tech device, right? And it actually saves lives. Or you have remote patient monitoring that allows you to get information to your physician in real time, right? And this information is not only helping the economy, it's helping healthcare. It's not only helping healthcare, but even the hospital systems and their ability to deliver better service, so they get paid better by Medicare and insurance carriers, and those types of things can be publicized via a series of news releases and stories to different media outlets and so forth around certain areas or certain genres of media at a specific time for a specific period, taking in mind the media's algorithms to get those things published and to get that information out in the news, right? So that is an example of using that to sort of help out with the algorithm crisis. And guess what? You become Google's friend with that, because that's quality information and that's what people want to read and that's what people want to see, and they're looking for solutions to their problems. So not only do you help your company, but you're becoming a friend with Google, and you're giving your marketing team an ability to pivot and reassess their particular tactics and plans to reestablish the efficacy and return on investment of their marketing programs with Google's new algorithm.
So is this actually how JOTO PR Disruptors has helped tech firms to pivot successfully during past media upheavals?
Yes. Yes. And, we do that on a consistent, proactive basis. It's not just during upheavals, but that is something that we use consistently to help tech companies who are going through their Series A, B, C, D, all the way up to IPO or trying to make a sale, really get the buzz out about what they're doing and what they're really solving. The caveat is they have to really solve problems. They have to be doing real good. Media for the sake of media is something that is very transparent and doesn't work. So it has to be authentic and something that really helps a lot of people.
So you said earlier, that AI, in this AI-driven environment, the algorithms are continuously changing. So are there tangible benefits of implementing anti-PR tactics?
Well, there's always tangible benefits for benefiting anti-PR tactics. I'll tell you why. Anti-PR is more of a strategy as it is so many tactics, right? It is a communication strategy to be able to communicate subject matter expertise as a thought leader that supports marketing and sales, right? It is not an end-all be-all. Anti-PR does not work without marketing, and it doesn't work without sales. And sales and marketing definitely work better with anti-PR, right?
So it has to fit together. It just can't just sit out there like an island.
No, it can't sit out there like an island. And it's not a tactic that you use once in a while down the funnel. When I say down the funnel, down the PR marketing and sales funnel as a tactic, like, oh, we want to boost SEO, or, oh, we want to do this. It really is part of a sisterhood or brotherhood with marketing and sales. When you use anti-PR, you're really warming up the markets, and all you're doing is changing people's minds and getting them to think newly. That's the first step towards anything. When people's minds are changed or they're more interested and comfortable, marketing has a better return on investment, because now they can really pull those interested and comfortable people down the funnel to lead generation and demand generation. But sometimes people don't even know they have a problem yet. And so helping them identify the problem and become interested in it, warming up the markets, pulling them down the funnel, there you get better marketing ROI, but then sales increases their velocity. It's really tough, especially with disruptive and innovative technology, to have sales educate in the sales process. It just takes too long, right? And so what you want is an educated market when people come to you.
That's really interesting. So in other words, a part of this approach is, tell me a little bit more about that. What do you mean by an educated market?
Well, say somehow you get a lead, or somebody's halfway interested, or they think they know something about what they need, but maybe they really don't. And so they talk to a business development rep, and then they talk to a business development manager, and they have to educate the reasons why this person needs this, right?
Right.
That's a long sales process, right? And in today's market with technology, anybody wants sales velocity to speed up. But if you have a prospective client that is very knowledgeable of not only the problem that they have, right? Like say with AI, we have a lot more need for cybersecurity and certain cybersecurity tools, right? And what are those tools? And you have companies, CIOs, CTOs that are more educated in these tools and what is the problem, what is the real problem that they're going to have, if they don't implement this. Those guys are so much easier to help in the sales process than someone that is not educated, right? They can help make a decision. They understand where it fits in their budget. They know how to communicate it to their superiors, right? They know how they're going to get the ROI from it. But most importantly, they know how they're going to protect their company. If they're clueless, they'll either not convert in sales or it's going to take too long as far as the education process. But what if they read about it in the news? And then they were able to read from subject matter experts the exact problem that they were running into. Then it's almost like, oh my gosh, soulmate, let me talk to this company. Yeah.
So KJ, we've witnessed, especially in the products area and in other places, the rise and fall of brands. You'll have a household brand, people love it, and then very quickly things turn. But is that applicable in the technology sector? If we're a company and we're producing software, we're producing cloud-based products, services, and it's all B2B, do I need to be that guarded about my brand?
Yes. Listen, B2B runs the world, right? And just because you sell services and products to another business, those services and products have an impact ultimately on the end user. And it's really good to understand that. But in the sense of brands that, are on top and then they're not so on top, one thing you need to know about public opinion and guiding and controlling public opinion is that it's not, willy-nilly. It's not like bright idea-itis. It's actually a codified body of knowledge that when you apply it, you get results. It's based on physics, it's based on math, and it's based on emotion. And if you understand those 3 points, you really have to learn physics, you have to know math, right? And then you have to understand how emotion drives people or doesn't drive people, and how you push past emotional barriers. You can understand that people that are on top or companies that are on top need to constantly fill the vacuum, right? Because they may get critical mass and they may think that that's going to stay there forever. And they don't do what they did in the beginning to get on the top. And then by the time they've lost their brand eminence, it's too late because that happened much earlier. When you're a technology company and you're innovative and you're disruptive and you're doing things to change a value network and you're doing things that go against the bigger behemoths that, honestly, you're doing things to improve the status quo, boy, you better fill that vacuum and you better continue filling that vacuum on what you do and how you're helping. Because today, technology is changing so fast. And from what I'm hearing and what I've seen from my clients and their competitors and our prospects is that, today the court of public opinion is radically and rapidly becoming your own differentiation because technology is changing so fast. Your competitor one day may not have the superior technology that you do, but because of the iterations and the ability to move so fast, they quickly are able to compete with you. So you better be a better storyteller. That's really the facts of it. It's a PR world today. And what does that mean? Public opinion drives the markets. These companies don't have to be the effect of that. They can learn the methodologies behind that, and they can be that much more in control of their brand and their expansion. But they're always going to have a good product.
KJ, I think a lot of our readers and listeners will affirm that we've seen countless times when the less good technology, the less best technology, actually emerges as the dominant player because of different factors. So thank you for illuminating basically maybe one of the big reasons why that happens, and it happens a lot. This has been really interesting. Where can we learn more?
You can learn more by going to jotopr.com, JOTOPR.com. You can learn about anti-PR. You can get resources. You can download ebooks on the ROI of anti-PR and actually how the different phases work together. And, of course, you can contact us through there as well.
KJ, I'm looking forward to doing this again and getting more education out there for our audience. But for now, thank you for taking time out with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy talking about this. And I would like to say one more thing. In my line of work, when I have helped, so many companies that are good companies that have great products and services that have to go against others that want to push them out of the market, the sole reason why my agency exists and why I do today is to really help those innovators and those disruptors that are changing the status quo for good. There's a lot of things that can be done to make this world a better place, and technology is one of the key areas that's doing that, and those companies deserve to be supported.
Well, again, thank you very much indeed.